Hey folks, I'm Becky with Enduring Finances. Welcome to my channel. Today we are taking a look back on my budget for January and the goals that I made for myself, what I accomplished, what I didn't, and going into this new year. So the goals that I set for myself to accomplish in January was to walk or work out every day. This did not happen. I got sicker than a dog and life happened, and so I missed a couple of days there. Which means I didn't make my second goal, which was to lose 5 pounds for my wedding. So that is very disappointing, but we've ingrained the habit of working out again. I am posting again on my fitness channel. I will link that up above. If you want to follow my fitness journey and kind of what that looks like in greater detail, feel free to. I did put a lot of effort into rebuilding my photography website. Last year, we had a big transition. I had a big transition with my hosting company, Bluehost, and it didn't work very well, and I ended up losing pretty much my entire website for photography, Holy Smokes Photography. So I spent quite a bit of time getting that reformatted and starting to essentially rebuild it from the ground up. So I'm going to check that box. Even though I didn't get it 100%, I got the baseline down and kind of the steps to move forward. I'm very happy about that. I wanted to have one weekend away for fun, and Jess and I did that. We went to Hot Springs, spent the morning there, had lunch, and it was just absolutely wonderful. We had the entire Hot Springs to ourselves for almost a good 45 minutes, and it was amazing. One of the things that I want to do with the rental property that I've been working with, is kind of get the accounting set up and really moving and functioning that way, because I didn't have a good system on how I was tracking money in and money out and what my estimated taxes were and all that. I broke down a spreadsheet that really makes it simplified, try to count how much is going for sales, how much is going for different fees and all the different expenses, and then estimated quarterly taxes so I can make those payments moving forward. And then I wanted to save $300 for my rental emergency fund, so that specifically covers anything that happens with the rental, and if I don't have a guest in, what do I do to cover the mortgage and the expenses and all that. So we did 4 of the 6. I'm very happy with how that looks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the goals I set for myself for February of 2025. So we're going again with walk or workout every single day. We're trying to lose weight for my wedding. I'm training for a triathlon. All of these fall in with my fitness goals for this year. So we're going to walk or work out every single day. Even if it's a rest day, we're going to do a light walk, especially with Jackson. I want to continue rebuilding my photography website. I'm hopefully going to have quite a bit of chunk of time at the end of February to kind of work on that and really put some effort into getting that ready for this summer. And I'm very excited for that. I want to have at least one weekend away for fun. We found that it's pretty difficult with our schedule to get a weekend where it's just fun related and not, working or school or business or anything like that. So we're focusing on that. We have it set up and scheduled. We're going tubing, snow tubing as a family. It's going to be fun. I am still working on getting a job. This is something that I started in December. I've interviewed. I have one tentative job offer that is standing alone. And it's pretty much a done deal, but it's a federal job, and it's 2 to 4 months out from February for me actually starting that work. I've interviewed a couple different places now. I've had a lot back out. I've got 4 particular jobs. The federal one, a state one with the sheriff's department, and then 2 HR jobs that I'm looking at getting, and one of those is probably not going to happen. So I've got 3 potentials going on. And then I want to save $100 for the rental emergency fund. If you followed the video where I broke down my first 30 days on Airbnb and included that kind of little extra with Furnish Finder there, we know that I had essentially broke even. But going into January, I did have a full-time tenant stay paying $2,000 for the whole month. So we should be able to save a little bit of money for that emergency fund and for future repairs and stuff on the rental house. But that is where we're at as far as goals for February and how I did in January. If you're watching this, please, I would ask you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment down below if you'd like. We're trying to grow this channel and all of that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at my budget. We know that we shifted a little bit around, moving with my fiance and blending our finances together. So this is kind of your first look at what that looks like as far as the budget side. So personal expenses, these are not business expenses. Personal expenses, we have housing for the house out in Mount Home. $1,225.26 that covers mortgage principal, interest, insurance, and taxes. Car insurance for 3 vehicles and a trailer is $194.91. Phone bill, $112.04 for that. Internet. Now, we've got a little asterisk here: internet, sewer, garbage, water, gas, electrical. And these are getting a 10% off because I'm running a home office. So we have 10% of the home is of the office itself. So based off of tax guidelines, 10% of the internet, the sewer, the garbage, everything that it takes to essentially maintain this home is tax deductible. So we're breaking that down as a business expense. So $58.45. I might be dyslexic a slight bit, but $58.45 for internet at a personal. We didn't pay sewer, garbage, or water, just based off how the breakdown went with the new year and payments, but those are typically every month here. $55.18 in gas, and then $45.13 in electrical. And this is a very big difference between the rental house, which is completely electrical and no gas, to this house where we are running off of gas with electricity as well. And we get into groceries. And this month, January, was a freaking big month as far as groceries expenses. We were estimating that we were going to spend about $800 on groceries, and we went way over that this month with $1,121.59, and that includes $32 on dog food. We did do a trip to Costco, and we did a lot of big purchases as far as bulk items, because that's what we're trying to do. And so we're hopefully going to see some lower weeks where it's, $100, $150, and kind of bring that down. This also was a 5-week month, so we had 5 different trips to the grocery store as far as weeks there. As far as eating out, we also did a ton of this. We are trying to cut down on this, but it is difficult. We are putting in a 1-night-a-week pizza, so Papa Murphy's, I spelled that wrong, Pap Murphy's, is our go-to here in Mountain Home. So we spent $57.46 on pizza. Fast food, an array of this, $98.19. Coffee. This is Jess. Coffee is her vice. $44.16. We got Izzy a donut because she is going through bed training. Wetting the bed training? I don't know. But she went through her first night without wetting the bed, with not having a pull-up on, and we got her a donut for that, and then little Hershey's Kisses for everyday post. We went on a date to Cheesecake Factory. We spent $58.23 there. And then we love ice cream in this house. We're trying to cut back. But we spent $14.52 going out for ice cream, which brings our total eating out to $276.56. As far as gas, we had very few trips to Boise. I didn't go out to the rental a whole lot except for the very beginning of the month. So we ended up seeing $77.84 in business credit for trips out to the rental and back there. So we spent personal $141.45, which is really well because I was spending a lot more on gas before. As far as health and maintenance, we're getting pretty high on this one. We have counseling, $100. Preschool for Izzy, $285.94. We did 2 different oil changes plus filters and all the things, so $196.27. We had to pay college stuff for me. I had some fees at Boise State from last semester. Jess is paying for 1 class out of pocket to work for a new degree. So between those, $513.90. I had to pay $3 in parking for my interview for one of my jobs. And then work stuff, we ended up spending $33.91 on stuff for wearing work, bringing that whole health and maintenance to $1,133.02. Then we go over to fun and other. And we spent $330, Jess and I, registering for the triathlon. We are both doing the Spudman Triathlon in Burley, Idaho on July 26th of this year. So we had to pay for that. We got put into a lottery, got selected, and had to pay those fees. We also paid a wedding cake deposit. So we went and did a cake tasting that was $40, and then had to pay half of our cake expense up front for the wedding in June. And so that came to $372.50. By the way, the cakes were phenomenal. Whew, they were so good. She gave us 3 little mini cakes that we got to try. Absolutely loved it. Went to the trampoline park with Izzy. Spent $27.32 there. We paid for Izzy's dance class. We had to register, and then a monthly fee of $25 a month. So that came out to $40. We had to buy more bath toys. So that's $26.48. And then Jess and I went to the hot springs, which was $33.60, bringing fun and other to $829.90, with $330 is triathlon and $370 cake. So we have a lot of really big expenses this month between college payments, oil changes, cake for wedding, and triathlon. As far as loans and subscriptions, this is where we're going to see a really big change on this, because I don't have any debt, Jess does. So we have a trailer payment, $268.78. Medical loan A, which is $87.71. Medical loan B, which is $80 even. We have Amazon Prime with the kids feature, because that's something that Izzy really likes, which is $24.88. We have Netflix, which is $15.49, and we are considering cutting that out. And then we got Hulu with a student discount, so $1.99, bringing our loans and subscriptions to $478.85, making our personal expenses for the month of January $5,672.34. On average for us, it's going to be about $4,000. So this was a huge expensive month between all of the vehicles and just getting set up for the wedding and the triathlon and all of that. And we're going to see some more money come into the triathlon and of course the wedding in the future. But that wraps up all of the personal expenses between Jess, myself, and Izzy. Let's go ahead and look at the rental expenses and how that kind of went through in January. So mortgage on the rental house, $1,209 there. Trash, $48.93. Didn't owe quarterly sewer. Internet, $64.90. Didn't owe water this month. And then electrical is $167.36, and that is going to jump up this next month. I know it. Other expenses, we will get into the breakdown here. Cleaning, I had one cleaner come in and clean one time, $55. So that's $77.84 in gas. And then KeyCheck is an annual subscription for a service that does background checks as far as rental and credit history and all the things, and then also facilitates the lease agreements and makes it like really easy for me to do that. So that's a one-time annual fee, $49.99, bring that to $127.83. So that brings my total rental expenses to $1,672.02. Let's go ahead and look at my business expenses on a whole as well before we get into income. So we have Holy Smokes Photography. We had $11.81 in Etsy fees, $15.45 in Etsy marketing, $38.15 in printing, bringing that to $65.41. As far as the home office, we have three that are coming into play: internet, gas, electrical, bringing that to $17.64. And then other expenses, bake fees, $5. Bluehost, I had to pay for a annual essentially hosting subscription for a third website that I'm working on, $24.17 there, bring that to $29.17. Bring my total business expenses, including the rental, to $1,785.24. So quite a bit of expenses. Let's go ahead and take a look at our income coming in. So as far as income, we have Jessica's main job. She got paid 3 times in January, $4,033.40. She had other income coming in at $896.11. My VA benefit, $537.42. The big one we're seeing here is the GI Bill. And this, I did not include the GI Bill. The government paid me. I have to refund them the money. I dropped out of my classes this semester. I know I kind of touched on it briefly, but essentially the GI Bill kind of changed their process. I'm not going to be able to go to school full-time the way that I wanted to this semester, and it's going to impact me in the future as well. And so because Jess and I are really looking at transition as job-wise and where we're headed, the idea is we're changing it up. Instead of me going to school and focusing on getting into sign language interpretation and Spanish, she is going to go back to school, because she was originally going to school, and she's going to study radiology. And so she is taking one class this semester that she needs to get into the program. She should hopefully start the program in the fall full-time, and I will work full-time while she goes to school full-time until she finishes that program in 2 years, and then we'll kind of figure out life there. So we've transitioned, we've kind of come to agreement that's what we want. So I will not be going to school anymore. Jess is going to school, but she is paying out of pocket, not using the GI Bill this semester. So we'll see that come into effect this fall. As far as other, I earned $697.09 there. And during finances, 28 cents on website ads. Holy Smokes Photography, $104.99 off of print sales. And then the rental house, we earned $521.12 off of Airbnb. Yes, staying usually one night there. And then Furnish Finder, we earned $2,200 there. We have $2,000 in rent for the first month, a $100 cleaning fee, and a $100 pet fee. And then we have a $500 security deposit they did pay as well. It's not counted as income, that's why it's kind of fishy there. It's in my pocket, I could spend it, but I'm going to potentially return that back to them when they leave the rental house. So that brings total rental income with the security deposit included to $3,221.12, bringing our total income from every source to $9,490.41. Bigger month because just got paid 3 times, and the rental did really well, meaning that we saw $9,130.60 in expenses from everything. We saw an income of $9,490.41, making us positive $359.81 for the month of January. We can see breakdowns here further. During finances, we're coming in at a loss. Holy Smokes Photography gained $39.58. Rental house, $1,548.10, up with $500 of security deposit. So we gained about $1,000 this month as income just based off of all the different aspects that came into it. But that is going to wrap up the budget for January of 2025 and my goal overview and look back on a pretty good month. Lots of different moving pieces as far as blending finances with Jess and accounts and all the things. Net worth will not be impacted until we get married. So look for changes in June when we tie the knot. We're going to have more expenses coming through at the wedding. Hopefully we're getting our invitations out. We're getting our food set up, and then chairs is going to be the big one. And then in a month or two, we'll get our dresses situated. So lots of money going places as far as wedding and triathlon and business, and it's just a lot of moving pieces, but we're doing really good. We're in a very good place financially. We're set up, and we're going to be just fine with the big transition from school to work and work to school and all those things. So fingers crossed that I land the best job out of what I'm looking at right now, and we can get that, essentially going by the beginning of March maybe, and get a little bit of a cushion built up to cover more of the wedding and potentially a very short honeymoon if work stuff allows it, and then just saving for essentially life. But I'm going to leave this here, and I will check in with you in my next video where I break down the investment accounts that I have with my 2 retirement accounts and my self-directed stock portfolio. And hopefully you guys have had a great month as well. Bye, folks.